whatever they call the things they wrap around their head. I call it a scarf. Some people call it a tunic. I call it a scarf. Them's awful pretty flowers. Just saying. The response of the EU Commissioner for Justice, Freedom and Security to the Danish cartoon crisis a couple years ago was to propose a press charter that would oblige newspapers to exercise prudence on certain controversial subjects. The response of Tony Blair's ministry to the problems of his own restive Muslim populations was to propose a sweeping law dramatically constraining free discussion of religion. At the end of her life, Oriana Fallaci was being sued in her native Italy and in Switzerland, Austria, and Sudri, other jurisdictions, by groups who believe her opinions were not merely disagreeable but criminal. In France, Michael Hollenbeck was sued by Muslim and other anti-racist groups who believed opinions held by a fictional character in one of his novels was not merely disagreeable but criminal. It is considerably less hellish than the trenches of World War I he's talking about, but subtly, incrementally, remorselessly, it leads to the end of the same darkness the Foreign Secretary foresaw in the gloaming of Whitehall 100 years ago today. And so, Austrian publishers decline novels on certain sensitive subjects. British editors insist forthcoming books are vacuumed of anything likely to attract the eye of wealthy Saudis who happen to have a flat in Mayfair. These are the books we will never read, the plays we will never see, the movies that will never be made. To reprise Sir Edward Grey, when it comes to free speech, the lamps are going out all over the world. One distributor, one publisher, one silenced novelist, one cartoonist in hiding, one sued radio host, one murdered film director at a time. It's time to stop it and to reverse it and to relight the lamps of liberty. And I found this very well written. You may need to know history. I mean, you need to know a little bit of history to understand this. But I found it very well written and very relevant to what's going on all over the world. And sadly, I get the rest of the world isn't America. It never has been and never will be. I get that. But sadly, the lamps are going out all over our nation. I mean, think about it. The DOJ spying on journalists, tapping their phones, trying to find out where leaks come from, the IRS targeting conservatives. You know, I'm not a part of any party. I used to be part of the Democrat Party. Then I fled in horror to the Republican Party, only to find, they're a bunch of crony capitalists and cowards and don't much give a damn anymore about the Constitution than the Democrats do. Not really. By commission or omission, the sin is the same in my book. I'm painting with a pretty broad brush. Don't get me wrong. There's some good Republicans out there who are defending the Constitution, but I can count them all on about one hand. 2 hands. That's not saying much. I'm talking about the ones, on a national level. We have the IRS targeting political speech. We have the NSA, the CIA, the DHS. We have the CIA spying on senators. Did you see that, ladies and gentlemen? At the end of the week last week, the director of the CIA admitted to spying on senators. That scandal alone, should require people to be indicted, prosecuted, and put in prison. And you can damn sure bet if it were a Republican president, all the libs there'd be gnawing and gnashing of the teeth, crying and screaming. That's just one. That's one of the phony scandals, one out of dozens and dozens of phony scandals that you and I know are not phony at all. Thought that was pretty relevant for what's going on today, not only in our country, but around the world. And I've been saying it for years. There's a darkness descending on the planet. I can't describe it. I can't put it into words. I can see it. I can feel it. I can hear it. We've heard it for the past few weeks in the way Israel's being attacked for defending itself against animals. Animals. I got stories here. I got pictures of Hamas hanging little children by their jackets and shirts on the point of a sharp fence, hanging them out in the heat in front of a building because they know the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, they know they won't bomb the building with kids hanging on the fence. These people are animals. We've heard it the last couple of weeks, the way Israel is being attacked. As someone of German heritage, who was for some time ashamed of my heritage, before I heard of the likes of Oskar Schindler and, I can't think of the guy's name, Valkyrie, Stauffenberg. I was ashamed of my German heritage as a young child growing up when I began to learn world history. And it wasn't until my adulthood where I realized there were good Germans. There were people who wanted to kill Hitler and wanted to stop the Nazis. I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I am disgusted by not only our allies and, friends around the world, Britain, France, the out-and-out blatant support of the terrorist Hamas, but not only that, but more disgusted by what's been going on in my own country. For the life of me, I looked it up. Approximately 69% of the Jews in this country, approximately 69% of American Jews voted for Barack Obama. The only bigger enemy to the Jewish people than Barack Obama is Hamas. I'll give you that. He's not as big an enemy as Hamas or Hezbollah, or even Tehran or Turkey or Qatar. He's not as big an enemy as they are, but with friends like Barack Obama, who needs enemies? I'm just saying, the writing's on the wall. John Kerry, you disgust me, Mr. Secretary. You are a despicable, disgusting excuse for an American citizen. You really are. But then again, You were in 1972 as well, so it's not like that's anything new. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it makes me sick to my stomach. The level of anti-Semitism, the level of der Judenhassers. That's about all the German I can speak. German for Jew haters. I mean, and there's, the reason I feel alone often, and the reason you feel alone, if you're listening to this show, I know you feel some of the things that I describe feeling myself. It's only disgusting because you and I know history. It's only disgusting because we know 6 million Jews were loaded on trains like cattle. Marched into showers where their hair was cut off so they could make clothes out of it. Their gold teeth were pulled. Everything of any value whatsoever was stripped from them, literally stripped naked, marched into showers, and then put into ovens. You have to really understand history, and really, I don't know about really. I mean, you get online and look at the pictures. But it does require a basic, and not even an advanced understanding of world history, but even the most basic understanding of world history. And what we've seen go on in the last 15 days, whatever it is, in Israel, and the way people have talked is disgusting. But if you're a brain-dead zombie who voted for Obama because you thought he was going to pay for your gas and pay your rent and pay your gas and get you a phone, which he did do that. I'll give him that. He got you a phone. If you're a brain-dead zombie, a useful idiot, who's really sucking up perfectly good oxygen that, is kind of going to waste, in my opinion. I'm just saying. And, you're part of the every kid gets a trophy crowd who didn't do his homework, didn't study for tests, but passed anyway, because no child left behind, for God's sakes. And you don't have the slightest idea where mankind has come from, where we've been, and the fact that we're like a little dog, as a species, we're like a little dog chasing his tail. We go round and round in circles, make the same mistakes over and over again. Only in this case, instead of accidentally catching our tail and biting it, we yelp and we go, in this case, when we chase our tail and go round and round in circles every time we pass through, as a species, 6 million people get put in ovens. It's happening again. Only this time, instead of Nazis, it's jihadis. It's the same face of evil with a different mask. A bunch of gutless, spineless politicians, not just in this country, but all around the world, who don't have the guts to confront it. Maybe when 6 million more people get run through the showers and the ovens, then maybe some people will stand up. I don't know. Maybe not. We're on the same path as the rest of them. All the faces are different. The names are different.